So you're here with myself, Frankie Banton, and today I'm joined with producer and DJ Tom Everett. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So first things first, just to give our audience a little bit of background information about Tom. You've had an amazing kickstart to your career as a producer and DJ. You've currently released 2 singles which have had lots of success, and you've had plays on like Radio 1, Kiss Dance, Capital Dance, and your first release called Patty was on Radio 1's C list. Was it like 6 weeks or something consecutively?
Six sounds about right. I think six. It was over Christmas, so I kind of got a bit confused. But yeah, I think it was around six.
Yeah, and then you've had loads of Radio 1 DJs, like they're big fans, like Annie Mac, Nick Grimshaw, and so on. So how does all of this feel? Did it all happen really quickly, leaving you a bit overwhelmed, or was it kind of just the best feeling in the world, knowing that you've had such a huge recognition from big players in the industry?
It felt very good, of course. Like you've got all these people that like you listen to growing up, and they're all like, just even when Annie Mac was saying like your name on the radio, that's a bit like, whoa, okay. But in terms of how quickly it happened very quickly, like very suddenly. They like did that new dance show for introducing people, and I just thought I'll just chuck something on there. I think that was Patty I chucked on, and then you like slowly get information as to like who's listened to it, where they've listened to it, and like gradually went from like the radio show in Leeds to then that new one in Radio 1, and then like to Annie Mac and everything. So it was like a slow, but when it happened, you're just like, whoa, it's a bit intense, but it's fun. It's fun.
Definitely. So you're London based now, but you have very close connections to Leeds, I believe. Do you want to just tell us a bit about your background and how it all started for you?
So I, yeah, grew up in South London, did music from like early, sixth form onwards, then went to Leeds College of Music for about 3 years, loved it. I love Leeds, it's a great city. I remember moving there thinking, oh, I'm going to be here for a long time. But then after graduation, just like gradually people filtered out, moved away. But yeah, no, Leeds is great. The music scene's fantastic. It's so easy to meet people. It's so easy to like connect with other musicians. It's a great place to like be involved with like the creative side of stuff, definitely.
Absolutely. I can certainly vouch for that. Big up Leeds.
Big up Leeds.
So would you say producing and DJing started off as a hobby, and then you kind of thought, actually, yeah, I can see myself doing this as a professional career? Or did it kind of start off whilst you were at Leeds College of Music?
I'd say it was a little bit of I think I'm quite good at it, mixed with I think I'm quite bad at everything else, and that's why I decided to do it for uni. But the DJing stuff was more of a hobby. You'd always go to like house parties or like nights out in Leeds, and like the DJs would always be looking like they're having the best time in the room. And then like a few more mates decided that they wanted to do it. And then you just have sort of like conversations. You'd be that annoying person behind the decks, like, oh, what does that button do? What does that one do? And you'd get like fascinated by the spinning wheel, and you'd be like, oh, I want to have a go at that. So it became like a hobby, and then yeah, just like I said, in Leeds, it's so easy to meet people in music as well. So more often than not, someone knows someone who's hosting a night, or there's like loads of open decks around Leeds as well. So you can, if you're like willing to like make a bit of a fool out of yourself when you're learning, there's loads of places to like hone in on your craft and everything. So it was like hobby, and then helped to become a bit of like I suppose a job at the moment. So it's gone all right.
Yeah, I mean the best way to learn is through making mistakes. So
Exactly.
So let's just talk a little bit about your first debut record, Patty. It's, if anyone doesn't know, it's a remix of Patty Austin's disco track called "I Can't Stop," which is kind of like American pop R&B. So what made you choose this song to remix? Is it a song you have a personal connection with, or is there something in it that you just really like?
There was no personal connection to it. I think it was around that time. So after I'd graduated, it was just like getting more and more into dance music, and loads of DJs would say that they start off by doing sort of like disco edits and like disco remixes, and like on Spotify it's just so easy to find all these records that, I mean, not many people have heard of. You can just get lost for like a day just finding all these random tunes. And I can't remember how I came across it, but it was like one of her first, it was like at the bottom of one of her first ever albums. And it's just like whenever you hear something you're like really like, I don't know, it kind of connects with you a little bit. I definitely heard the first sort of like hook bit of the chords and everything, for oh, there's something in that. And it's got a really nice hook as well with the vocals. So I mean, I didn't think it was gonna be anything major. I think it took about 3 or 4 months to eventually, like after keep on going back to it, eventually take form. But yeah, when I played it out, people seemed to connect with it. So I think that's when I thought it might have a few legs. So I just went back to it, and then it sort of made a world of its own, really.
Nice one. And then of course your second release, Reason, it's a great track. I love it. It's like a great kind of summer vibe tune. So it's got over 330,000 listeners on Spotify, which goes up by the day, I noticed. So it's also been remixed a few times. So was that something that you'd worked on for a long time as a project, kind of experimenting with different rhythms and styles, or does it just kind of come really easy to you? Or would you say you're someone who has more of an idea and can make it happen quickly, or is it kind of a lengthy progress?
I'd say with those two, it was like with Patty and Reason, they were sort of made in like a sort of 4 or 5 month period where I was just addicted to finding loads of old records and just changing them, speeding them up. Like the Reason, that was a really slow song, so I think that was more of a challenge than the other one. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a case of because everyone's inside now, but nowadays it's very much a sitting on a track and constantly thinking, overthinking it too much, and it sort of takes the process a little bit longer than maybe it does with other people. I don't know. I whenever I'm making stuff, it happens like 1 in 5 times. I'm just like, I really, really like that. And the other ones are just a bit like, you're not really, if you're not really thinking this is any good, then you don't really think anyone else is going to vibe with it either. So sometimes it's a quick process, sometimes it just doesn't happen, and it's very annoying, but it's part of the job, I suppose.
Yeah, it's all comes part and parcel, I guess. So kind of with how fast your career's kickstarted so far, where would you say you see yourself in 3 years' time?
3 years time. Oh, that's an interesting time period. I don't know. It's so weird to even look ahead at the moment, because there's like, I don't know, a year ago, even just without everything else going personally, like, there's so much stuff that you thought was going to happen over like gigs and stuff. But 3 years, I'd like to think a couple of EPs under the belt, hopefully. I think there's, when I'm making stuff at the moment, I'm thinking I'm like storing stuff away, thinking, oh, okay, that could be like the back end of an EP, like
Yeah.
maybe slower stuff. But yeah, I reckon hopefully gigs, hopefully a few first festivals under the belt as well. But yeah, hopefully it's sort of by then still going upwards. Just sort of take it as it comes, really.
Yeah, definitely. It's all very exciting for you. And then I guess my next question would be if there's anything you could have done differently, wish you'd done differently in the build up to your career as a producer, what would it be?
Oh, I reckon it would be going back to what I said earlier about overthinking stuff. I think there's a lot of times when I've been making songs where I've been thinking, oh, is someone in particular going to like this, or like would this go down well in this certain environment. I think if there'd been more times where I've just stuck with what I've been doing and made it because I like it, maybe I'd have more stuff out. Maybe it would have happened sooner. I don't know. But I think the overthinking thing definitely comes into play for me and a lot of other people as well. There's a lot of DJs and like artists I speak to, and they're just like, oh, I don't like the track even once it's already out. But I think that can be quite a negative thing for people because you're just constantly thinking I don't know, something's not quite good enough, which can be a bit negative. But maybe that stop overthinking stuff.
I think we can all relate to that. I definitely overthink way too much. So just gonna take it back to what we were on about earlier. Obviously you studied and you kind of started your career in Leeds, and then there's great support in Leeds for all musicians across all genres. So how important would you say BBC introducing West Yorkshire was? Obviously, Emily Pilbeam is very well known in the local Leeds music scene. So how much did that shape you and your career when you were here?
It all literally happened like the last couple months of when I was at Leeds. So I feel like, and at like the height of lockdown as well. So I feel like personally, I never experienced like the full benefits that like the West Yorkshire BBC could have done. But I know for a fact through loads of other people that have gone through it that it is like insane. Like it hosts stages for like various festivals around the city. I know it's done loads for Live at Leeds. And it just like, even just as like a sort of confidence boost, like when you see, even though it's a local station, like you see BBC introducing, and like everyone from like watching Glastonbury when they were younger knows that that's still like a massive deal. It's like just to be able to see that someone even has just listened to it and also takes it further and plays it on their show, it like gives you so much confidence going forward. And then Emily herself, she's lovely. I went up to Leeds a few times over summer last year, bumped into her in Brudenell, and she's just such a lovely person. She's really, really nice. So hopefully you get to bump into her a few more times.
Big up Emily Pilbeam.
Big up Emily
No, she is
Pilbeam.
great. I've met her once over Zoom as well, and she was really gave me some great advice. So yeah, anyone listening then around Leeds, then Emily's your girl. Emily's your girl.
Lovely gal.
Yeah. So can we expect anything new coming up soon? Any new mixes or I guess tracks to be released? And the same with any events or stuff that you've got coming up either in Leeds or London or
Events wise, I think there were going to be a few festivals, but I'm being quite cautious now because one of them was going to be Kendal Calling, and literally this morning that was announced that that's been called off. So that's a bit of a bummer, but I think that's the same boat for everyone though. Like loads of people are suffering with that, losing income. But singles, tunes, wines, yeah, hopefully more out before the end of the year. I'm in like a bit of a moment at the moment where like my label are just allowing me to just sort of knuckle down and sort of work on anything I want. And so I'm trying to hone on that. And there's a few stuff that is looking a bit tasty. So hopefully for the turn of the year, new mixes as well, stuff. There'll be stuff happening, I reckon.
very exciting. I'm certainly excited to hear more stuff. So there's of course lots of influential producers out there. If you could compare yourself to a producer or a DJ, who would it be and why?
I don't know who I'd compare myself to. I think, I don't know, I'm very early doors with where maybe I want to be as a producer, but the people I take inspiration off, I mean, loads of my friends would probably get annoyed by this because I say it all the time, but I'm like a massive fan of Jamie XX. I think he's insane. I've heard he's got a new album coming out this year and I'm just buzzing, but like the way he does loads of cool things of samples he uses, and he's like cross genre of his DJ sets as well. I want to sort of take a hold of that and sort of maybe put that into whatever I do as well. So I wouldn't compare myself to him, but I'd say I definitely get inspired by him.
Maybe one day you'll be able to say that you can compare yourself to Jamie XX.
Oh,
The dream.
imagine.
So I guess for any aspiring producers or DJs listening, or even artists who are looking to break out into the industry, how important is it that you kind of put yourself out there? And what I guess what kind of advice would you give to anyone listening that is kind of trying to follow in similar footsteps to what you have done so far?
I'd say, like you just said there, just any way you can do it, just find out ways to sort of put yourself out there, get your name out there, be it for like gigs, and like I said, of like if you're a DJ, open decks, or if you're a singer, open mics. Like there's going to be more time to make a fool of yourself than, especially at the start, than it going well. But when it does go well, that usually is the way forward. Like there's something good that comes out of that. Keep putting stuff out. Yeah, like I say, just don't expect everything to go right at the start, but more often than not, the stuff that does go right will feel very, very good, and then that will lead you on to bigger and better things.
Excellent. So I think this will conclude today's interview, but thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure's It's been good.
It has. It's been great to speak to you, and it's certainly a very exciting time for you and your management, and I look forward to seeing what's in store for you. If you haven't heard Tom's latest release, Reason, then go and check it out. It's on all streaming platforms, I think. And then there's some links below as well, which will take you to his website and tracks and stuff. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, then check out my other interviews, and then do the usual like, subscribe, comment, whatever. So yeah, once again, thanks, Tom. Take care, and hopefully I'll catch you at an event soon.
We can dream. We can dream.
Okay, cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.